Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. I mentioned in the previous programs that the Rebbe wore 3 crowns. The first crown, he was a Manhig Chabad. The second crown, he was a Manhig to all Yidden. And the third crown, he was a Manhig to the entire world. And that's why when he came to America, he asked right away that they should go to Washington, D.C., speak to the president, because he had in mind about chinuch. Because it's important for him that the whole world should also do the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nei, as we already discussed it. So when the Frierdiker Rebbe came to America in 1929, he said then that America is a Medinas HaChesed in 29. And I don't know if he saw President Hoover or he didn't see President, but he gave him a bracha. He should have Arichas Yomim. I have it written down. And it was a historical Rosh Hashanah then. He was in Bronzeville. Bronzeville used to be called the Yerushalayim of America. It's not far from Crown Heights. He davened then Rosh Hashanah in Rabbi Dachovitz Shul, and he davened hours to the middle of the night, the first night Rosh Hashanah. He cried a lot. People were there, and they had to bring a bed. And Shema Yisrael took him a couple hours. It was a historical night. We already discussed it, and I don't want to discuss about it now. You can always click back and see. But what I want to mention today about the second time when he came in 1940. The Frierdiker Rebbe came to settle here in America. We already also had a program, but something I want to mention that we didn't mention it before. First of all, he asked Rabbi Mindel, should he put a shtreimel? Rabbi Mindel came with him and Rabbi Chadakov came. Should he put a shtreimel? So Rabbi Mindel told him, yeah. So it seems like a shtreimel is, special occasions you put a shtreimel. We already spoke about the shtreimel, about the chasene, Rebbe Rashab, the Frierdiker Rebbe, that you were in Lubavitch, not. So a shtreimel has some meaning. Anyways, but before he arrived to New York, he said to Rabbi Chadakov and Rabbi Mindel, we're coming to America. America is a shtik ice, it's a piece of ice, and we came to break the ice of America. Or we're coming to break the ice of America. What's ice? Cold. America is cold. Cold is the opposite of Torah. Amolik is asher korcha baderech, cold. By the way, in America, we say, people say, oh, he is a cool person. He's a cool guy. Cool is a madrege. It's cool. Cool is hepech HaTorah, the opposite of Torah. Cool. America is a shtik ice, and we have to break that ice of America. The Rebbe once said in a Sikha, I remember, he was speaking about, it says in the Mishnah, that when a person stands Shemoneh Esrei with his feet together, he's not supposed to move. And a nochash, a snake, goes around his feet, excuse me, then he should continue davening. But if an akrav and a scorpion goes around his feet, then he should stop and do something about it. In Ruchnius, the Zohar says, what does that mean? When a snake bites a person, the poison is hot. The body becomes hot and the person dies. When a scorpion bites a person, God forbid, the poison is cold, the person becomes cold, the body, and the person dies. And he explained that when a person davens Shemoneh Esrei and heat, foreign thoughts, taivas, desires, certain desires that are not supposed to be, wrong thoughts fall into his head in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei, don't worry about it. Continue davening. By continuing davening, you will change the taiva from klipa to the taiva of kedusha, because it's hot. So you'll change it. That's why when people argue with you about Munas Hashem or whatever, it's okay. If they argue, by arguing, at least something bothers him. So by arguing, he'll become whatever he's supposed to be. L'toiv. So when a Nachash, when heat goes in Shemona Esrei, continue davening. By davening, you'll change the heat of Klippa to the heat of to the Kedusha. But when an Akrav, when apathy, doesn't care, no feelings, then that's much worse. And the Rebbe came to America and he says America is a shtik eyes. I once heard a Maisa, and I don't know if it was the Baal Shem or it was the Rizhiner, I'm not sure. Let's say the Baal Shem told his Talmidim that everything is Hashgacha Protius. Whatever a Yid sees or hears, he should learn out in Avodas Hashem. So this happened Xmas night, the 25th of December. They went outside afterwards, and they saw there was a custom by the Goyim Xmas at night that it was cold outside in Russia, it was freezing, so the river froze. So they made a cross on the river, a kalter, and they made a tzelom, and then they cut around the tzelom, and they picked up the tzelom, and they were walking all night with that tzelom, with that cross, a kalter tzelom. Here, and they see it. Here the Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov just told him, whatever you see and you hear, you have to learn in Avodas Hashem. What can we learn from a tzelom? So they ran back to the Rebbe, and they told the Rebbe. So the Rebbe told him, from here we can learn out that when something or somebody becomes cold, the end is he'll become a tzelom. He'll go away completely. Kalt is the extra zach. So the Rebbe came to America to break the ice of America. The Amaratzes then was unbelievable. People couldn't keep Shabbos. Shmira Shabbos, if they had a job, Shabbos, they couldn't work, they had to look for another job. There wasn't too many Talmud Torahs, there wasn't too many yeshivas. Even when Rashag bought 770, the secular people didn't like it. They said, now we have no freedom. This is not, there were secular people, the Kaltkeit then was unbelievable. So then the Frierdiker Rebbe sent Rabbi Mindel right away to Washington, to President Roosevelt, because the Frierdiker Rebbe had in mind release time, and I will explain some other time, next week maybe, what release time is. Children to take out from public school and learn Torah once a week. And also, he started to write that he should write Tanya in English, and he should write everything, especially when the Rebbe came here, he should write things, everything for chinuch. And here, I found a letter, and this letter is from the White House on November 15, 1940. My dear Mr. Mindel, the President, this was President Roosevelt, has asked me to thank you for your visit and for your very nice message of congratulation. He wants you to know of his sincere appreciation. Very sincerely yours, Stephen Early, Secretary of the President. And there's more letters that the Frierdiker Rebbe sent him to Washington. Right away, what? Chinuch. The release time, or also in 1906 they started a conference for children and youth, not to do with Yiddishkeit. So the Frierdiker Rebbe wanted to take advantage in 1940 of that to pass the law of release time that you can teach children, Jewish children, at least 1 hour a week, which we'll talk about it next week. Now, by the way, the Frierdiker Rebbe had a lot of problems, a lot of tzoros. First of all, he had opposition from people. Even G'dolei Yisrael were against. They say, if you have 1 hour a week, then these children will not go to Talmud Torah, which is more than 1 hour. And also they said that if they later on by the Rebbe, when they about prayer in public school, that if they do prayer in public school, the Goyim will think about Oisei Ha'ish, about Yoshke, and they'll get in conversation, and Chas v'Shalom might be terrible. And also you have to, when you think about the Eibush, you have to wear a yarmulke. These are the frum people that said, and we see the opposite, that how many thousands of children became frum from release time, which I'm going to have next week's program. The secular Jews, they said, why should we mix church and state? Why should we mix frumkeit, religion, with, it has nothing to do with it. That religion is religion, and public school is public school. This was the kaltkeit. The Frierdiker Rebbe then called it the kfira. Kfira means the atheist, the people who didn't believe. And the Frierdiker Rebbe wanted to put in the Talmud Teilis, Aristam and the kfira was Mesiras Nefesh. And this is what is the yontif of Chanukah. What happened Chanukah? Besides the miracle of the oil, the Hellenists, they were the secular Jews. They wanted to become like the Greeks, like the Yevonim. So the Greeks loved to study Torah. They were one of the first that translated the Torah into Greek. And the secular Jews had a spiritual war with the Hashmonaim. The Shemen was one thing, and the spiritual Mocham was something else. What did they say? So we say in Aneris Halolu that it says there that lahashkicham Torah. They said, learn Torah. This is what they wanted. Learn Torah, but don't say Torah secho, that the Torah is the Eibishter's Torah. And how do we know that these are the secular Jews? Because it says there, Tmeim biyat hayrim. The Tomei went in the hands of the Torah. Now by Goyim there is no Tumah and Tahara. There's only by Yidden. So this was the milchama, that the secular Jews had. And the Nes Chanukah, we won the milchama. These are Hellenists that didn't believe in the Torah Sheba'al Peh, didn't believe in Miras Shamayim. And this is what the Frierdiker Rebbe, when he came to America, when he said that America is a shtik ice, a piece of ice. He's talking here about the reformer Jews, the conservative Jews. The Frierdiker Rebbe called them verim dike rabbonim. He wrote it, verim dike worm rabbis. It's not the Yidden. There was no reformed Jew. A Jew cannot be reformed. A Yid has a neshama, but it's the Rabbonim's problem. Like he said, if you want to know if the fish is fresh, smell the head. If the head is fresh, then the whole fish is fresh. If the head is not fresh, then the whole fish is not fresh. And this is what the Frierdiker Rebbe had in Milchama when he came here. Now, this reminds me, years ago, I was invited by a Reform rabbi, I wouldn't call him a rabbi. As a matter of fact, when there's letters from the Rebbe, that if he writes to a Reform, he doesn't write the word rabbi. But anyways, so I went to this Reform rabbi. He wanted I should speak Chanukah to the Talmud Torah Sunday school. I should make a bracha with them. He invited me along. This was in Long Island. So first I came into the office. So he takes out a book, and he shows me a book of pictures. And he says, I have 750 members. And do you know that half of them are Jews and half of them I converted? I was Megayed. So I said to him, open. I said to him, I was pretty close to him, so I can talk to him like that. I said to him, you should know they are goyim, they're not members. That your geyeres is not a kosher geyeres. He appreciated. I told him the truth. Sometimes when you say the truth, he never heard, like maybe he knew what he was doing, he knew that he was doing wrong, but I told him the truth. Also, when I had to speak to the Hebrew school there, I didn't go to the temple, because you're not allowed to walk in to the temple. This was in the hall. So he told me, make a bracha with the children, the candles, Chanukah. I said, the bracha? You told me you don't believe in the oral law. What does it say in the bracha? Asher kiddushonu b'mitzvayso v'tzivonu l'hadlik ner Chanukah. That the Eibishter said you should Chanukah candles. Where does it say? He smiled. He also showed me a pair of film that he puts on a boy that becomes a mitzvah only once. Is my mitzvah. And he showed it to me. Now, by the way, that film was probably kosher film. They had the shin like a Chabad shin. I don't know where he got it from. Kosher. I said, this is film. Why is it black? He says, black has to be black. How do you know it has to be black? I told him. Maybe the film is green. Maybe it's blue. What does it say? So anyways, but they want to hear the truth. This was the reform. This type of people, these are like the Hellenists. And Baruch Hashem today, through the Shluchim today, and the Shluchim had a lot to do with it, that through them we broke little by little the ice of America, what the Frierdiker Rebbe said, "Mit aufzubrechen the ice from America." And these candles, Chanukah Menorah, that the Shluchim all over we have Menorah, and the Chanukah candles that it says mi Pesach Beise mi Bachutz, that you have to light outside, that the outside world should open their eyes and see all the nisim, and see the light, the truth, until ad kalya raglo de tarmidoi, until everybody, the last person, will do tshuva, and they'll see the truth, and we should be zeicher to the big light, the light of Mashiach Tzidkenu, bimheira v'yameinu amen. In Mitzvah Hashem, next week we will continue our Thursday night program.